Hey, welcome back to Lick of the Week videos. We're still continuing in the Understanding Licks series. Video 1 looked at the differences between some nice generic rolling sounding patterns that we hear in bluegrass banjo, even patterns that have a few left hand ornaments inside of them, and we differentiated between those and what real hardcore, in this case Scruggs licks, were, and how they sound and how they fit into the flow of all that. So once you have an understanding of the difference between just generic rolling patterns and real dedicated licks, musical phrases that are repeatable, your next goal would be to determine, how do I use these licks? And for me, there's 3 ways to look at how to use licks in bluegrass banjo. And I'm referring to Scruggs style banjo in this video, but this applies to single string and melodic and any other kind of style of banjo where you're using licks in the context of your solos or licks in the context of backup. The 3 main divisions in my mind are you're using licks for filler between melody, say in a vocal song where there's holes in the vocal line where the singer stops to take breaths. You can use licks to fill those areas, and you can combine them with some of that generic rolling backup we talked about and make nice sounding filler. Or you're using the licks to substitute for parts of melody. Sometimes licks can sound like parts of the melody that you're trying to play on the banjo. So you can slice out dedicated piece of the melody and replace it with a lick that has a lot of similarities for that section. So it's a substitute for actual melody in places. Or 3, it's just for improvisation, which means you're stringing together licks because they sound good, they last the same amount of time as the melody, and they fit the chord structure of the song. So it's just free-form string together licks because they sound good and there's no real relationship to the melody. In this video, let's look at one of those 3 divisions of lick use that, in my mind, is the way I think about it. And let's look at filler phrases. Now, in the context of a lot of songs, especially vocal melodies, you will have places in the song where there's not much structure as far as melody goes. I'm going to use the same song that I used in the previous video, which is the Worried Man Blues. And what we'll do is examine the melody, get in tune first, and we will try to string together these phrases of the melody and look for these dedicated spaces, or what I refer to as holes in the melody. And I'm just going to kind of roll generically a little bit, and then I will exaggerate these spaces by stopping. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Now, you know, that sounds really exaggerated when I stop playing my rolls and when we isolate the places. Now, if I continue the roll patterns and fill through those holes with my rolls, it won't sound so sparse, but the holes will still be there, and the holes will be the same size unless I change the way I sing the vocals. So I'm going to try to sing it the same way. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. So there in that example, I continued to roll and I didn't put those pauses in there. So the pauses were more for illustration purposes. Probably wouldn't want to stop playing like that if you're really playing the song. Now, once we've identified where the spaces are in that vocal melody, or any melody for that matter, just for this example, what we need to do to determine how to use the licks is, are we going to use the licks for filler? Well, in this video, I'm going to assume that we're using example number 1 for lick usage, which is to use it as filler phrases. So I'm going to try to fill those spots with not rolls, but dedicated Scruggs licks. So let me go again from the top. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes Now, you see the difference dynamically speaking. There's a lot more going on in there. There's more life in that solo, or not my solo, but my backup, because we're using this as filler phrases. So now if I was taking a melody break for this, then we could try to substitute licks, but we'll save that for the next video maybe. But for this video, let's just assume that we're playing just low position backup. So therefore we're going to use low position licks for the filler, which is one of the prime reasons you may want to learn some licks, you know, in the lower positions on the banjo. Now I'll try to break down some of those licks. It takes a worried man. Now that's a double hammer idea that's really a standalone lick that you can use in places that fit. How did I know that lick was going to fit? Well, I knew the structure of the song. It takes a worried man. I had a couple of beats go by where there's no melody. There's that pause in the vocal. So what I need to do is find a lick that lasts about 2 beats. Now, it can be kind of like math. You can analyze the licks and categorize them by how long they last. Oh, this is a 2-beat lick. This is a 4-beat lick. This is a 3-beat lick. And that's good for studying the licks, but when you actually have to be called upon to play a lick in your backup like that, or in a solo, you need to know before you play the lick that it's going to fit, obviously. So there's a little bit of trial and error and experimentation involved in using these licks. Even if you understand the time of the lick that you're trying to play, and it seems like it matches the hole you're trying to insert it into, you still have to play around with it a little bit to make it feel like it fits. So after that lick, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. That's another common Scruggs filling lick. It takes a worried man. Now we're in the C chord. That's a pretty well-known Scruggs style C lick. And again, I'm just using it as filler between the vocals. Even though the song is moved to the C chord, I'm still using all these ideas as filler. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. There's my hammer-on lick again, which brings me back to G, and there's that hole. Sing a worried song, takes a worried man, lick, to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be. There's a common split finger D position, but I won't be worried long. And then I use that lick as, say, what we call a tag filler phrase, just the end of the line of the melody. Now, these are just examples of licks you could use in Worried Man Blues to fill those holes. You may find licks that you like better, but they need to be really, to be considered licks, they need to be, some patterns that are recognizable and repeatable. And those Scruggs licks that everybody learns will fit right in those holes. So try to digest this, and we'll see you next video. Thanks.